Alright, let's cut to the chase. Today, we're tackling a question that keeps a lot of us up at night. Why hardworking Americans still can't escape poverty. Ever feel like you're doing everything by the book? You know, study hard, graduate, get a good job, work your tail off, save every dime. But years later, all you've got to show for it are bills, debt, and a future that feels foggy? You're not lazy. You're not dumb. You did everything right, just like they told you. Yet, here you are, still stuck, still can't quit that job, still can't live life on your own terms. If any of this sounds familiar, then this video is for you. Let me tell you a hard truth, one that might be tough to swallow. Working hard doesn't guarantee wealth. In fact, it might be the fastest way to get trapped in a cycle of what I call sustainable poverty. Sound crazy? Maybe even a little cruel? But this is what 95% of Americans will never hear, because the system, well, it doesn't want you to know. And if you stick with me through this video, you'll understand why 90% of people can work their entire lives and still not get rich. And most importantly, you'll learn how to break free. Here's a painful truth. The harder you work, the more likely you are to be taken advantage of. Think about it. You work 40, maybe 50, maybe 60 hours a week. You pay taxes on every single dollar you earn, right off the top. Most of your money goes to just living, rent or mortgage, groceries, healthcare, maybe student loans. And at the end of the month, if you're lucky, you scrape together a few $100 in savings, only to watch inflation eat it away. And all you hear is, just keep trying a little harder. Hard work always pays off. But have you ever stopped to ask, if hard work is the key to riches, why are the janitors, the folks juggling 2 or 3 jobs, the ones grinding day and night, often the poorest among us? It's not that you're not trying hard enough. It's that you're playing by an outdated playbook. We've been programmed since childhood to be honest, hardworking, and poor. From the time we were kids, we were told, study hard, get good grades, land a stable job, do a good job, get a raise, spend less, save more, buy a house, pay your taxes, wait for retirement. Sounds like a solid plan, right? Except that's a model designed for the 1950s, when a single factory worker could still support an entire family. Fast forward to today, 2025, and everything's changed. Housing prices have skyrocketed tenfold, while wages have barely crawled up 1.5 times. Healthcare, education, the basic cost of living, it's all outpaced our paychecks. The system keeps feeding us the old script, but it's playing by a completely new set of rules. The result? You're running as hard as you can in a game you were never meant to win. If you feel financially anxious, even though you're busting your butt, you are not alone. Nearly 60% of Americans today don't have even $1,000 in cash for an emergency. One medical emergency, and it's game over for many. One layoff, and the house, the car, could be gone. And the worst part? They blame themselves. I'm just not smart enough. I didn't try hard enough. But the truth is, the problem isn't you. It's what you've been taught about money. The question you should be asking isn't, how can I work harder? It's, whose game am I playing? And is there another way to play? That's what we're going to unpack next. We'll expose 7 common, toxic beliefs that keep the poor, and yes, even the middle class, unconsciously trapped in this cycle, day after day. You'll realize, you don't need to do more. You need to think differently. If you've ever felt stuck, no matter how hard you've tried, then the next part will shine a light on the invisible chains that have been holding you back all these years. Want to get rich? Don't start with doing. Start with thinking. Awesome. Part 2. 7 toxic beliefs that keep the poor working harder, not smarter. Belief number 1. Just work hard, and you'll get rich. Sounds right. And honestly, it's partly true. The problem is, hard work without direction is like trying to dig a deep hole with a teaspoon. The rich work hard too, but they work hard building systems that make money even when they're not around. Meanwhile, the poor often work hard, serving those systems. They trade their irreplaceable time for money, and money can disappear in a flash. Time. You never get that back. Instead of asking, how many more hours do I need to clock in? Ask, does my current path help me decouple my time from my income? The first step to wealth isn't working more. It's working smarter, in the right direction. Belief number 2. Saving is the path to riches. Saving. Sounds like a virtue, right? But let's get real. You stash away $200 a month. But inflation is silently stealing at least 3 to 6% of its value every single year. The more cash you hoard, the poorer you're slowly, invisibly becoming. The rich don't just save, They turn money into a money-making machine. They invest. They use money to acquire assets. Things like real estate that cash flows, stocks, businesses, or even knowledge that creates new income streams. Saving is a start. But if that's where you stop, you're doomed to forever chase your tail against inflation. Belief number 3. Buying a house is the best investment. Buying the house you live in, that's not an investment. That's a liability. Think about it. Your primary residence costs you money every month. Mortgage, property taxes, insurance, repairs, interest for 30 damn years. That's cash flowing out, not in. The rich don't buy their dream house first. They buy income-producing assets, and then those assets buy the house for them. Meanwhile, many people buy the house first, then spend their entire working lives enslaved to the bank. The result? They're shackled by decades-long debt, stripping away their flexibility to invest or make bold life changes. If your house isn't putting money in your pocket, it's not an asset. It's a nicely tiled burden. Belief number 4. A stable job is the safest bet. Stability is an illusion, a dangerous one. A stable job can vanish with one round of layoffs. An entire industry can be disrupted by AI in a few short years. The rich don't bet their entire lives on a single paycheck. They build multiple streams of income. So if one dries up, others keep flowing. Meanwhile, many put all their eggs in one job basket, and when that basket drops, it's panic mode. No plan B, no significant emergency fund, no side hustle income. True security isn't about the job title you hold. It's about this. If you lost your main income source tomorrow, would you be okay? Belief number 5. Investing is gambling. It's not for people like me. This belief is more dangerous than you can imagine, because it makes you automatically disqualify yourself from the wealth-building game, leaving all the real opportunities on the table for others. The rich understand that investing is a learnable skill. They educate themselves. They learn to analyze, manage risk, build diversified portfolios. They accept there's a learning curve, but they don't let fear paralyze them. And the average person? They hear one horror story about someone losing money in the market, and they swear off investing forever. Nope, not for me. So they sit on the sidelines and watch their hard-earned cash bleed value to inflation day after day. Not investing doesn't eliminate risk. It guarantees you'll get poorer over time. Belief number 6. To get rich, you have to be brilliant, incredibly lucky, or born into money. This is the lie the system feeds you, to keep you from even trying, to keep you from making a change. It makes you accept your lot in life, settling for far less than your true potential. The reality? The vast majority of millionaires in America are self-made. They often started with little, worked regular jobs, but they learned, they observed, they cultivated a completely different financial mindset. You don't need a silver spoon, but you do need the guts to question everything you've been taught is true about money. Success isn't about your starting line, it's about your finish line thinking. The rich think long-term and act decisively. Many others think short-term and wait for a lucky break that never comes. Belief number 7. Money isn't important. Happiness is all that matters. This is one of the most noble-sounding and most damaging beliefs out there, because it allows you to be irresponsible about your own future and the future of your loved ones. Money isn't everything, that's true, but a lack of money makes everything exponentially harder. Lack of money means you can't properly care for your parents when they're old and sick. Lack of money means your kids might not get the best educational opportunities. Lack of money means you don't have choices, you only have obligations and debt. The rich understand. Money is a tool, not the ultimate goal. But refusing to learn how to use that tool effectively is, frankly, irresponsible. End of part 2. You're living with an old mindset in a new world. These 7 beliefs aren't always 100% false, but when you follow them blindly, they become the very chains that keep you broke. You cannot build wealth with a poverty mindset, and you cannot achieve financial freedom if you're still clinging to outdated thinking in a world that has fundamentally changed. In the next part, I'm going to share some real-life stories. People who were drowning in debt, living that work my whole life and still be poor nightmare. But they turned it all around, not by winning the lottery, but by a radical shift in their thinking and by applying a counterintuitive formula. You're about to see. The way out isn't about working harder. It's about fundamentally changing how you think about money, time, and your own value. Why 90% of people work their entire lives and stay poor. Part 3. Wake-up stories, from groping in the dark to financial independence. You might be thinking everything I've said so far is just theory, that only the lucky, the super smart, or those born with a silver spoon can actually get ahead. But I need you to listen closely to what I'm about to share, because these aren't stories about tech billionaires or Wall Street geniuses. These are stories of ordinary people, maybe people who had it even tougher than you. But they changed, and their starting point wasn't a pile of cash. It was a shift in mindset. Story number 1, the waiter and the 3 jars formula. I first met Danny at a small diner in Texas. He was a waiter, pulling in less than $2,500 a month, struggling with rent, supporting his elderly mom, and had never managed to save even $1,000. Fast forward 8 years, Danny bought his first house with cash, has over $200,000 invested, and is planning to quit his waiting job. What happened? Danny didn't win the lottery. He didn't launch a startup. He heard one sentence that changed his life. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Danny started applying the 3 jars principle, a classic but powerful money management technique. 50% of income for essentials and living expenses. 30% long-term savings and emergency fund. 20% investing in index funds and, crucially, financial education. Initially, he was only saving about $300 a month. But after 3 years, thanks to compound interest and unwavering discipline, his assets started to grow. He wasn't making more money at first. He was just keeping his money working better. Story number 2, the factory worker and the old smartphone. Lena lived in an industrial town in California. A single mom, she worked 12-hour shifts at a factory. Every week, she'd sigh, "I just don't have time to change anything." Then one day, she made a small decision. She didn't upgrade her iPhone. Her old one still worked fine. That money she saved, about $800, she used to buy an online course on sales skills. After 4 months of practicing in her slivers of free time, she landed a part-time online sales gig she could do in the evenings. A year later, her income from that side hustle matched her factory salary. She then quit the factory to open a small Etsy shop. Today, she's not fabulously wealthy, but she has choices, something she never had before. And it all started because she decided not to chase the latest gadget. Story number 3, from busy bee employee to independent investor. Marcus was an admin assistant at a company in Toronto. He worked incredibly hard, always believing that promotions would come if he just put in more hours. But after 10 years, his salary had barely budged. And when the company downsized, he was one of the first to go. Devastating. But it was also a brutal wake-up call. During those months of unemployment, Marcus devoured dozens of personal finance books. He realized he'd been living an illusion for years, trading his time for money, but never building any actual assets. He decided to switch to freelance work, simplify his lifestyle, and started investing in ETFs using a DCA, dollar cost averaging, strategy. At the same time, Marcus started a blog sharing his financial journey. Just 3 years later, his blog was getting over 50,000 reads a month and became his primary source of passive income. Now, Marcus doesn't work to survive the month. He works because he enjoys it and on his own terms. What's the common thread with Danny, Lena, and Marcus? None of them had a great start. None of them got rich quick. But they all did one crucial thing right. They changed their mindset before they changed their bank balance. They didn't blame their circumstances. They didn't chase get-rich-quick schemes. They accepted reality, but refused to stay stuck. They didn't work harder blindly. They learned to work smarter. And above all, they stopped seeing themselves as victims and became active players in the money game. So what about you? Are you like Danny, saving every penny but feeling lost? Are you like Lena, feeling trapped because you think you have no time? Or like Marcus, a hard worker still lulled into a false sense of job security by the system? Whatever stage you're at, believe me, the transformation doesn't start with a huge sum of money. It starts with an honest question you ask yourself. Whose beliefs am I living by? And are these beliefs actually leading me to wealth? Part 4. The bottom line. Freedom isn't for the overworked. In this final part, I'm going to help you see what 90% of people never realize. That you can work your entire life and still end up poor if you don't understand how this system is playing a game with you. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to start rewriting the rules for yourself. Backhand index pointing right. If you've ever felt tired, confused, or just plain scared about your financial future, then this next part is your roadmap out of the maze. Why 90% of people work their entire lives and stay poor. Part 4. Freedom isn't for those who just work hard. It's for those who dare to think differently. If you've stuck with me this far, then maybe, just maybe, you're not like the other 90%. Because you're still listening, you're still thinking, and deep down, you know something's wrong with the way the world works. You've done everything they told you. Work hard, save, show up, hope for a raise, plan for retirement, but you're still stressed at the end of the month, still afraid of losing your job, still wondering when you'll finally get to breathe. Because the problem isn't that you're lazy. The problem is you're playing the wrong game. What do they want you to believe? From the moment you were young, you were programmed to be a good little cog in their machine. Work hard to earn money, spend money to feel validated, borrow money to look successful, then keep working to pay off debt for the rest of your life. That system needs you exhausted but obedient, busy but not clear-headed enough to ask questions. It doesn't want you to be free, because a free person is no longer dependent, no longer needs that installment plan, no longer needs to buy approval with material things. So what is true financial freedom? Freedom doesn't mean doing nothing. It's the ability to choose the work you want to do, choose how you live, and choose not to do something if you don't need to. It's when you have assets, generating income even while you sleep. It's when you no longer need to work for money, but you start making money work for you. And to get there, you have to start with one crucial choice. Trade the lifelong employee mindset for an ownership mindset. How do you start? I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow. I'm not hyping up some risky, all-in investment or some crazy startup idea. I'm just saying you need to stop, take a hard look around, and reset your course. Start with small things that have massive power to change everything. Know the difference between income and assets. Your salary isn't an asset. That mortgaged house you live in, probably not an asset. Your car loan, definitely not an asset. Learn to distinguish. This is the first step to avoiding the trap of working your whole life and staying poor. Learn personal finance like it's a life skill. Nobody is born a money genius, but you can learn, just like learning to swim. It could save your life in a crisis. Focus on growth potential, not just stability. Stability is an illusion. Today's stable job could be replaced by AI tomorrow. Assets with the potential to generate new income are your safest harbor. Build a second stream of income ASAP. Sell something online. Invest, even small amounts, consistently. Write a blog. Teach a skill. Create a digital product. Anything that helps you break free from depending on a single paycheck. Here's a truth you need to internalize. Most people who achieve financial freedom didn't start with a lot of money. They started with a new belief. A belief that there was another way. They refused to live a pre-programmed life. They chose to become the designers of their own. So, do you want to keep working your whole life and end up poor? Or do you want to find freedom on your own terms? I can't decide for you, but I can tell you this. Most of these common financial mistakes seem harmless until it's too late. And if you're reading these words, you're ready. You're ready to step out of the fog, ready to relearn, redo, and live differently. A gentle but powerful action. If what you've heard today has sparked something inside you, let me know. Have you felt trapped by this system? Are you trying to break free? Comment below. Share your journey. I'll read every single one. And maybe we can learn from each other. If you found this valuable, you know what to do. Don't just hit like for me. Stay connected for you. Because here, we're not chasing trends. We're chasing truth. See you in the next video. It might just be the one that changes your financial thinking forever.